What's up, guys? I am that runner dad. For those of you who don't know me, don't follow the channel. My goal is to run a 100-mile ultra. Uh, my name is Zach Shunky. I am from North Carolina. And if you've been following my journey, you've seen my progression in running. I started running in June of 2025, which means that this month I have officially been running for 1 year now. So I sort of wanted to make this video to sort of recap my journey this past year and the things that I've learned in this year. So started running in June. I had a friend challenge me to run a mile. Now, I come from a grappling background. I'm a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Got cauliflower ear like crazy. Grappled for 5 years, competed in grappling. Loved it. Absolutely love it. Still love it. Eventually I'm going to go back and get my black belt. That's the plan. But I have this one thing that I want to accomplish, and that's the 100-mile distance. So, I had a friend challenge me to run a mile. Being a grappler, I've always been in good shape, so I thought, well, this won't be that hard. And I did it. I ran the mile. It wasn't as easy as I was expecting it to be. So, the way my brain works, whenever I'm not good at something, I decide, hey, I need to spend some time here and get better at this. And so that's what happened. In June of 2025, I ran that mile for the first time, and I decided, hey, I'm going to start running more and get better at this. Little did I know that it was going to lead to where I am now, a year later. I just thought, hey, I'm just going to get more exercise, maybe run faster, be a little better at it. But that 1 mile run sparked this journey. And so after that 1 mile, I started, built it up to about 1.5 miles, 2 miles. And I decided I'm going to sign up for a 5K, right? 3.1 miles. Can't be that hard. And I trained pretty extensively for about a month. And I did my first 5K race. It was the it was a 5K race in Old Fort. I don't remember the name of it. Chasing Trails Ultra in Old Fort, North Carolina. It was a 5K, a 3-hour, 6-hour, and 12-hour endurance race in Old Fort. And I did the 5K. It went a lot better than I expected. I ended up placing second out of like 30 runners, I want to say. So I felt really good. And having a good result in that race inspired me to sign up for another 5K. And then another. And so I ended up doing 4 5K races in total. And then I moved on to a 3-hour endurance race. Now, up until that point, the farthest I had ever ran was a 5K. So the 3-hour endurance race, I was kind of going into it blind. I didn't know what to expect. I'd never ran for 3 hours before. It was also going to be a trail run. I was more of a road runner at the time, and I still am. I have a lot more time on trails now than I did then. So went into this race not knowing what to expect. I built up my long run to I think about 10, 11 miles at the time. And so I went, did the 3-hour race. It was about a 3.5 mile loop. You did as many loops as you could within the 3 hours. Now they had a rule. If you finished your final lap 30 minutes before the end of the 3 hours, you were not allowed to do an additional lap, because unless you could finish in 30 minutes, which most people couldn't, because there was about 800 feet of elevation in that 3.5 miles. So to complete 3.5 miles in 30 minutes with 800 feet of elevation, it was good chance most people wouldn't do it. So they just said, if you don't make it back in 30 minutes, you're done. So I ended up doing, I want to say 4 laps, 5 laps, 4 laps for a total of 14 miles in about 2 hours and 35 minutes. It was the longest I'd ran up until that date with the most elevation on. I want to say it was like 2,800 feet or 32, something like that. So I felt really accomplished. Boosted my confidence through the roof. I was ready to go. After that race, I felt great. So I got this idea in my head. I'm running 100 miles. Why not run a 50 miler first? As you should. So I signed up for a very well-known 50-mile race in Western North Carolina. It's called the Mount Mitchell Heartbreaker 50 miler. And when I signed up for that race, I looked up some YouTube videos to try and, get an idea of what the course looked like, what the vibes were, what to expect. And honestly, I was intimidated because I heard a lot of people talk about this race. It's one of the hardest races for a 50 miler in North Carolina, maybe even on the East Coast. A lot of elevation. There was supposed to be 12,000 feet of elevation over 50 miles, which is, if you know anything about elevation, that's quite a bit. So I was intimidated by this, but regardless, I trained as best I could. I built my long run up to about 23 miles. And once again, I went into this race blind, not knowing what to expect. And I ended up running 45.6 miles and then DNFing the 50-mile race. That was about 8 months in to my running journey. So I was a little discouraged, right? I had this big goal of running 50 miles. And I came 4.5 miles from the finish line and I couldn't finish. And when I say I couldn't finish, I could not finish that race. I was going through the worst possible feelings that I've ever experienced in my life. I was dehydrated. I was in a major calorie deficit. My legs were on fire. Didn't even know if I had legs. It was rough. And thankfully, my wife and my brother and his wife, big shout out to my brother, Jamie. If you're watching this, you're a great support, and I appreciate you and Dallas's effort on my race. But yeah, I had a bunch of people there to support me, and they pushed me to that last aid station, which is where I eventually dropped out. And I felt defeated. I felt like maybe I didn't leave it all out there. Maybe I could have gone that extra 4.5 miles. But looking back, I've realized that regardless of whether I chose to do that 4.5 miles, I stepped out into the arena, stood at the start of that race, not knowing what to expect, not even having been running for a full year. And I went out there and did the longest distance that I've ever done. 45 miles is no joke. 9,000 feet of climbing in that 45 miles. So regardless of feeling defeated, I saw an improvement in myself. I saw this inexperienced runner turn into an ultra runner in a single day. And that single day didn't happen in that one day. It happened the months prior to that race. And now that I've reached a year of running, I would like to share a couple of things that I've learned along the way. Number one, the discipline that it takes to run consistently. Whether you run every single day, you run 4 days a week, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, you have to get yourself out that door every single day. And if you're a person, and I've seen tons of people who do this, if you're a person that gets up, puts their shoes on, and gets out that door every single day and does what they're supposed to do in order to accomplish what it is that you've set out to do, I have nothing but absolute respect for you. I've met many people along the way who have accomplished much more in running than I have. I've completed 100 milers, 200 milers, 150-mile races. So I feel like I'm standing in their shadow, being a new runner. First year, right? But I know and I see the discipline that those individuals have to accomplish those goals. And hats off to them for that. The second thing that I've learned in this year is you're a lot more capable than what you think you are. I know there was many days where I would start a run and a mile and a half, 2 miles in, I'd be like, I'm going to cut this short. Like, I can't go any further. But I didn't stop. And somehow that feeling changed. The feeling changed from, I can't do this, to, like, maybe I can. Like, maybe I can just go a little bit further. You know, try just a little bit harder and maybe I'll get there. And so in this year, I've learned that just because you feel bad doesn't mean that you're going to feel that way forever. So you can do more than what you think you can do now. Because I definitely know going into some races even, I didn't think that I was going to have a good result. I didn't think I was going to go as fast as I could or as far as I could. And I did. So know that, people, if you're starting running or if you're an experienced runner, just know that what you tell yourself is not always the truth. You can do more than you believe you can. And the third thing that I have learned, and in my opinion, one of the most important things that I've learned in this year of running, is that the people that you surround yourself with, whether it's the people you meet on the trails or somebody you run into on a road run, somebody you sign up for the same race as, somebody that you meet on Strava, whoever it is, surround yourself with people who are like-minded, people who will push you to be the best version of yourself, people who believe in you, people who are going to hold you accountable. I think that the most valuable thing that an individual can have is friends. People who support them, push them, encourage them, hold them accountable. That's what you need if you're going to move past the limits that you think you have. So, in this past year, I've learned so much. I've grown so much. This channel has grown. My idea for this YouTube channel was just to document my journey from not being a runner to becoming a 100-mile finisher. And that's still the goal. I have a 100-mile race scheduled December 19th. It's the Beast of the East in Kings Mountain, North Carolina. Don't know if I'm going to finish this race. This is just the first 100-mile attempt. Hopefully I get it done the first time. Not a lot of people do. I'm not too concerned about whether or not I finish the race. I'm more concerned about running the race and doing my absolute best and learning and fixing the mistakes that I occur along this journey. I would also like to thank everybody who is subscribed and supported me along this journey. It's still continuing. This is not an end of the video, or not an end of the journey video. This is a continuation into the second year of running. But as for the first year, those are my thoughts. That's my story. I hope you guys enjoy, and thank you for watching. And we will see you guys at day 252, which is tomorrow. Let's go.